This is Questions with Mike. Kate from Instagram asked, Mike, thanks for sharing your box of goodies for your miracle morning. Would you share about how you write and choose your declarations and how to use declarations in general? Kate, that is a great question. Declarations, super helpful. In some circles, they're called affirmations. Some people call them out loud verbal projections. Declarations, basically these things that we recite over ourselves to change our thinking, to change our beliefs, to reorient how we believe whatever is going on about any specific area. And so in my Miracle Morning box of goodies, my declarations are specifically about certain projects that I'm working on this year, things about me. At this point in my life, I've started using declarations to pinpoint and specifically reorient certain things about my belief patterns that I'm like, there's more here for me than what I've been saying yes to. So an example of a declaration that would be helpful for me in this context would be, increase in business does not mean depletion of energy. That might be a declaration I would use, right? And the point of that is not to focus on depletion, but to help change my mind toward recognizing abundance and increase doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna be tired all the time, or that I'm gonna be like exhausted, or that it's gonna be harder. That doesn't have to be true. I had a student in one of my classes today ask me, what if you're in a relationship you don't wanna be in? How do you address this dynamic or whatever? And I had to stop her and I was like, hey, there is no relationship you have to be in that you don't wanna be in. Everything in your life, you have choices in. So to believe that you're stuck in something is already to position yourself in a posture that's powerless. So I might use a declaration to reorient that if that's something that's productive and helpful. And I might say something like, I am not in a relationship I don't want to be in. Or there's no relationship that I'm in that I have to be in. Or I have permission to be in whatever kind of relationship I want to be in. Something like that. I'm going to use a declaration to help clarify for myself, every person I choose to be in connection with is a choice I'm making, not something that's imposed on me, not something I'm a victim to. There are lots of things you can do to change situations and dynamics, especially relationships. You are not a victim to that stuff. And so what I'd go after for her in that situation is I want to change the belief that you have about the people in your life, let alone the conflict you're trying to resolve, right? And so there are lots of beliefs, all kinds of beliefs that are dictating the world we live in, how we engage it, and what success looks like for us. I use declarations to help reframe that context, that setting that I'm in, so I can actually start moving toward the truth and saying yes to things that are real, that are powerful, that are life-giving, instead of allowing things that aren't true to come and steal from my experience and sabotage my ability to succeed in my environment. Another declaration that I find helpful is, you will never have to worry about a steady income a day in your life. That's true for all of us. None of us have to worry about anything, actually. But let's talk about money, because it's such a hot topic, right? Some of us feel like we actually need to stress out or like be anxious about this thing and find a solution before we can be at peace or before we can chill out or whatever. And that's actually not true. I'd like to propose that being anxious and stressed out about that whole thing is not setting you up for success. You might find some kind of thing to appease your lack of trust in that area, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you have peace in your life. And I'm not saying do nothing. Like, yeah, find solutions, like, work out however it is you're gonna have income in your life, but anxiety, worry, and stress does not need to be part of that process. That is volitional. That's a choice that we're making. So if we want to accept anxiety in that space, that's something we can do, but just understand that it's a choice. It's not something that's just part of the territory. It's not just the way that it is. I actually really despise that statement. It is what it is. That's the way that it is. That's like very powerless. It's ignorant, and it doesn't promote understanding. It actually does the other stuff, right? I've got some friends, I'm 31. I've got some friends in this age range that are like, oh, we're in our 30s, man, blah, and there's all these things that they think should have happened in their life or that they, are judging themselves for. A declaration in that area that I think would be constructive or helpful, and I'm just giving you guys examples to just kind of pepper the experience, would be, my age is a reward and a beautiful thing to embrace, and I'm happy to be 31 or whatever. Because I'm not actually self-conscious or embarrassed about being 31 or whatever. Like, there are things that you can look at in terms of what's normal for people at my age and compare me to that normal and like, oh, I'm missing things in this area. Or things that I have that I'm like, wow, look how amazing I am in this area. And neither is appropriate or true. Like, I'm who I am and I'm saying yes to what the Lord's doing in my life, and I'm not comparing that to anybody else. Other people might compare me to other people, and that's their business and their deal. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't have any interest in comparing that stuff because it doesn't lead to truth or life or help. Like, it's not constructive. So, I fashion my declarations specifically to help orient my beliefs toward things that are true, that are life-giving, not limiting beliefs. So we have lots of beliefs scattered around our lives that actually keep us small, that keep us restricted, that keep us, trapped in these like limited expressions of who we are. those beliefs are actually the filter through which we're experiencing and releasing what we're tapped into. As we change those beliefs, it actually changes what we bring to the table and also what we're able to receive. So declarations, super constructive and helpful in reframing the lens we're experiencing our lives in. You guys, would you like, comment, and subscribe on this channel and this video especially? Any declarations that you have for yourself or that you've been able to craft based on this video that you want to share below, we'd love to see that. And if you guys have any questions you'd like to have answered on this series, put a comment below or send us an email. We'd love to hear your questions.